everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today I have a very late but very important update on the Exorcist Reboot. Now, I know I talked in the past pretty negatively about it, but we actually have some good news today. We're gonna get into that in just a second here, but first I'm gonna need y'all to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Also, please consider supporting me on Patreon. The link for that will be in the description below. You can see an extra video every single week over on there. Alrighty, now let's get into it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Well, I'm Pennywise the dancing clown.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast!
You son of a...
God, don't do that.
But sometimes that is better.
So the last time I talked about this, I said that they were in kind of like this weird development stage with a new Exorcist like reboot, remake, whatever is going on with it. Now we actually have some confirmation about what is going on and who is doing it. Jason Blum recently confirmed that Blumhouse is working on the new Exorcist reboot slash remake. Now before you get all angry, I actually have some good news here. So just hang on 1 second before you leave me an angry comment about how you don't want this movie to happen. Just hold on 1 second. Blum confirmed this news in an interview with Den of Geeks recently, and also teased that David Gordon Green might be set to direct this, although it is not confirmed at this time. Blum teased a new direction for the Exorcist series, comparing it to what David Gordon Green has done with John Carpenter's Halloween. He said in a quote, "It's going to be like David's Halloween sequel," Blum tells the site. "I think it's going to pleasantly surprise all the skeptics out there. We had a lot of skeptics about Halloween and David turned them around, and I think he's going to turn it around with The Exorcist." So it's not confirmed that David Gordon Green is going to be directing this new film, but it kind of seems like it already is, the way that Jason Blum is talking about it. It also kind of suggests from this quote that they're going to be treating it the same way that they did with Halloween 2018. Can I get like some kind of board where I just mark it every single time I say that a horror franchise is going to be doing it? Add The Exorcist to the list at this point, where just every franchise is going to be doing this. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, The Exorcist. There, that's the three that I can think of just off the top of my head. Here's my thing about this. Like, yes, I think if you're going to do some kind of continuation to The Exorcist, like, yeah, make it a continuation. Don't try to remake it. You cannot remake The Exorcist, man. It is just one of those films that, like, because of the time period it came out, that's why it's so culturally significant. If that film came out today, it would just be another possession film, whatever, no big deal. But because of the fact that it came out in the early 70s like that and shocked people across like the entire world, that is why it is so culturally significant. If you go back and watch it, it's fine. It's a good horror movie. It's honestly one of my top 10 favorites of all time. But still, I have to admit, it's not as scary as everyone says it is. And sure, there are a lot of people and skeptics, like Jason Blum said, that would strongly disagree with that, and that's totally fine. I just think a lot of movies have topped it since 1973 or whenever it came out. The problem with doing a continuation to The Exorcist, though, is that no matter who you have on it, even David Gordon Green, who is doing like one of the biggest like horror franchises right now, that is like super popular, the new Halloween films, you're gonna have so many people going into this with negative feelings. You're gonna have mixed reviews no matter how good this thing is. You're also gonna have people that don't watch videos like what I'm making right now and are just gonna go into this film thinking, oh, it's a remake of The Exorcist, I don't even want to see it. There's gonna be Exorcist fans who won't see this thing because they're gonna mistake it for a remake. They're probably just gonna call it The Exorcist too. Just like what they did with Halloween 2018, we'll have The Exorcist 2024. To avoid that, let's give it a different title. Let's not call it something like Dominion, because that's kind of stupid. Let's call it something else. Oh, and let's not call it The Exorcist Resurrection. Let's just stop calling horror movies that, because just about every horror movie that has that tagline is fucking dog water. Except Alien Resurrection. I actually really like that film, although a lot of people crap on it. The other thing about comparing the new Halloween movies to like a continuation of The Exorcist, what are you gonna do in a continuation to The Exorcist? With like Michael Myers, you can just have that guy forever just being like not dying at the end of the movie. You can make like 6 more of those and I'm gonna go see all of them and probably enjoy all of them. What are you gonna do with an Exorcist continuation? Like, I'm down, David Gordon Green's behind it, Jason Blum's producing, cool, like it's gonna be decent at least, but like I just don't feel the need for Exorcist continuation. And if you're gonna do it in the style of Halloween 2018, where it's a direct continuation to just the first film, ignoring all the sequels, what you have to do then is have like Reagan be grown up, played by a different actress. I don't see the point in making that film. I don't know if we need another Exorcist movie. I think that first one is fantastic, the second one is god awful, and the third one is okay, and the rest of them you don't need to watch. There are some franchises franchises that I think should just stay dead. And although I am a huge fan of that first Exorcist movie, I don't think it needs a continuation. I am so down for this movie, that's cool, like that's fine, whatever, but I know it's gonna be so controversial when it comes out, and it's going to be much more similar to what happened with Dr. Sleep than what happens with the new Halloween movies. The problem with Dr. Sleep, in my opinion, the reason why it didn't do that well, even though it was a great movie, was that it was a continuation to a film that came out 40 years ago, or 39 years exactly from when it came out. The last time The Shining was part of like pop culture before Dr. Sleep was that crappy miniseries that Stephen King wrote, and it's god awful. Most people don't even know it exists. So to try and bring something back like that, don't get me wrong, I love Dr. Sleep. It should have done so much better. I think it's arguable that you could like that movie over the original film. I definitely see that argument, for sure. But the reason it didn't do well is that it hasn't been in the public eye for so long. Like to do a movie like that, you have to like put out some kind of feeler first. They didn't do that with Dr. Sleep. They should have had like some kind of like mini series or something based on The Shining beforehand. That was just like a little low budget, like some kind of TV series. And then if that does well, okay, you got people thinking about The Shining again. So let's put out a sequel then after that. That's why that film didn't do well. They kind of just relied on the fact that they put Stephen King's name in the front of it and it's just gonna do well. Well, that's been proven not to work anymore. There's so much Stephen King stuff out there, we only really go and watch like the remakes of the popular stuff, like Pet Sematary. The remake for Pet Sematary made a bunch of money. It was god awful. I was not a fan of it at all. I liked some of the changes, that's about it. The trailer ruined the rest of it. That's my review of that movie. The one thing that is very different between Dr. Sleep and this new Exorcist film though is that they did have that show a while back, but it got canceled, so I don't know if we need a movie. Like, that show was good, okay? I watched a little bit of it, and honestly, I really liked it. I don't know why it got canceled. I didn't finish it all the way. Maybe it just kind of started sucking towards the end. I thought it was pretty wonderful, but it seemed like people lost interest. People don't have, like, a super big interest in possession movies anymore. Look at the Conjuring films. They're slowly starting to decline financially. No, most people aren't going back to watch those films anymore. We just went through, like, a 10-year we just went through, like, an entire decade where possession films were like the dominant on the box office and in the horror movie realm. Why didn't it come out 10 years ago? If you wanted to do some kind of continuation remake, you should have done it 10 years ago. You kind of missed your window at this point. So my prediction is I don't think this movie's gonna suck, but I think a lot of people are gonna overlook it, and it's gonna be one of those like tragic things that happens. Just same thing with Dr. Sleep. It's so tragic that that film didn't like make more money, didn't get more attention, because it was so good. I am just totally rambling at this point, but what do you guys think about the new Exorcist reboot, remake, whatever this thing is going to be? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching my new video on the Exorcist reboot. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Please follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Just look up KillJoy Jake and I'll come up. Check out my second channel, Movie Smoothie, where I review everything that isn't horror. I just posted a whole bunch of Rick and Morty reviews on there today, so make sure to check those out. Also, please consider supporting me on Patreon if you want to see extra videos every week. I'm doing a whole bunch of crazy reviews over there. You can also listen to my podcast that way. Make sure to check that out by clicking on the link in the description below. Thank you all again for watching, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.